Good morning. I'm going to have this microphone on because I've had vocal surgery before, so talking to all of you, I want to make sure that I can keep emphasizing what I'm saying without yelling, and I'm going down to another tournament next week, and I got to make sure that my voice is there. So, my name is Mrs. Hughes. I teach down in CSM Tech. I teach math, and if you're in CSM Tech, raise your hand, because there's a lot of you in here. Excellent. I may have to call on you this morning. I also coach Team Rush. And if you haven't heard, I will put a plug in. We just won the Michigan State Championships. Woo! We are state champs. I have to be honest with you, when Mr. Eislie asked me if I would do this today, I was befuddled because I thought, what the heck? I have worked with the varsity girls soccer teams, and I've worked with the JV football players to kind of work on motivational, inspirational stuff. And so he said, well, can you work on conformity and life and team? And I've been stressing about this since I think October when he asked me to do it, because I want to make sure that I'm not just talking to you. I want you guys to come out of here thinking about your own place in life and team and conformity. So without further ado, this is meant to be an interactive session. As he mentioned, I am not going to stand here and talk for 1 full hour. I'm going to need your help. We're going to hopefully fill this board up with suggestions. Mr. Eislie is going to assist me on that. So conformity. When I first started the research on this concept, I thought, well, it would help if I had a dictionary or some definition, and I've decided that the definition that we're going to look at is pretty broad. In one, when I first looked it up online, it said conformity is compliance with standards, rules, or laws. Okay, I can go with that. So I looked further, and the next one said behavior that is the same as the behavior of most other people in society or group. Now, what it's basically saying is, are you following the rules? Are you being conformist? And this is how we're going to address this with all of you today. First thing I want to start out is with your family. Are you a conformist in your family? And what does that mean? Well, the first thing we'd have to do is we'd have to determine what are the rules at home. So I want you to turn and talk to the people next to you, come up with maybe 3 rules that you have at home that you have to follow, that your parents say, these are the rules. Go ahead, turn and talk. As soon as I said rules at home, some of you start smiling because you have more than you want, right? Raise your hand if there's more rules at home than you desire. For a lot of you. What are some of the rules? Just shout it out. What's a rule at home?
I like how Cody was the fastest one to raise his hand.
I'm not picking on him today because I don't want my personal business exposed. All right. What is a rule at home? Sam, what's a rule at home? You have no rules at home?
We have rules at home. You gotta turn in your phone at 10 o'clock in my mom's room on charger.
Okay, so how many of you have phone rules at home? Anyone have phone rules at home? I like that. I might adopt that, Sam. Thank you. All right, give me another rule. What's a rule in your house?
To let the dogs out.
Okay, so you've got a responsibility. If the dog needs to go out, it's expected, right? Is there expectations and rules? There's kind of a fine line between that, right? Because they may not have ever said, you know, this is the rule, but you know darn well when they ask you to do something, they're expecting you to do it, right? Give me another one. Cody, what's a rule at home? Or an expectation? Okay, give me something that they expect you to do. You get up in the morning, what do they expect you to do that day? Go to school, right? Your parents are expecting you to go to school. Excellent. All right. What happens if you don't follow the rules? Okay, now the hands are going up. Go ahead. Go ahead. This is when I want you to write it down. Okay. What is one consequence if you don't follow the rules?
Well, we have yogurt soccer. Okay, they punch them on the floor, and I have to kneel down on it. It hurts. It's cruel and unusual,
You
man.
have to kneel on the grits.
Yes.
All right, kneeling on the grits. Give me another consequence to. All right, Max, go ahead. I know, good. What happens?
Like, yeah, you can get like a phone taken away.
Okay, phone taken away. Car taken away. Anything else you can think of? Not a lot. So you're grounded, right? Grounded, no social.
Like talk to me for like an hour, like a long lecture.
You have the lecture, the parent lecture. All right? So therefore, you'll do what's expected just so you don't have to be talked to. Okay? All right. Are there any more?
I know this hasn't happened, but if I don't wear my high visibility jacket when I'm rollerblading, when it's dark already, I could very easily get smushed.
Okay, so we're going to get to maybe some more of that later, but you could get hurt. You could get hurt. All right. So do you agree that sometimes at home it's just easier to follow the rules than to, suffer the consequence? How many of you just decide it's just easier to just do what they're asking me to do than to deal with the consequences? Okay. So I guess I want you to keep that thought. Let's go one step further. What about school? So we started at home, let's move to school. What are some of the expected school rules?
Stay away from class.
Stay awake in class, all right? So that's an expected school rule. What's another one? Do your homework, okay? Don't cheat, right? These are good, these are expected rules. I'm sorry? Participate. Yes, these are all expectations, right? Your teachers want you to have. Are there any more that you can think of? To show up. You actually attend school. Yes. Follow the dress code, the lovely dress code. And as the weather gets warmer, the dress code gets more refined, right? All of a sudden you think, well, that rule wasn't there at the beginning of the school year. Yes, now what happens if you don't follow school rules? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so you could fail. You could fail. What's another consequence if you don't follow school rules? A detention.
Suspension, expulsion.
Suspension or expulsion. What else? Can you think of it? Talk to the person next to you for just 30 seconds. Let's come up with a few more. What happens if you don't follow the school rules? So what did we come up with? What are a few other consequences if you don't follow school rules? Pardon me? Attendance contract. What else?
They take something of yours, like phone or...
Aha, they relinquish your phone. Okay? Phone. They take away your parking. Yep, absolutely.
Obstacles to future success in endeavors, including but not limited to college and an occupation.
Okay, so if you don't follow school rules, it could affect you in the long run by possibly whether or not you get into school or you get into get a job. Okay, so there's some long-term things if you don't follow the school rules too that some of you don't see as a direct connect. Okay, all right. Have we pretty much extinguished, basically what do we have? Failing grades, Saturday school suspension, call home. Do parents ever get involved? Is that a consequence you would prefer not to deal with? All right, so let's throw parents up there too. Which goes right back to that home thing, right? How do we tie that back to the home thing? What do your parents expect you to do? Follow the rules at school, right? It's an expectation. All right. Let's go one more. Let's talk about work. How many of you have a job? Not many. How many of you want a job? How many of you prefer to be retired? All right, so what I want you to do now is I want you to talk to the person next to you. What are some expectations at work? Now, you don't have jobs yet, but you've heard people saying this is what would be expected. What do you think? Let's bring it back up here. What are some expectations of work?
If you're like working with little kids, have like nicer.
Okay, so you're expected to work with the client, right? Whether it's a little kid or if it's an adult, you're expected to be professional with the adult.
Show up on time.
Show up on time.
Fill your work quota for the day.
Do your job, right? Fill your work quota, do your job.
Do you have any outfit uniform you're supposed to wear?
Right, dress appropriately, right? Do you think that your employer is going to let you just hang out on your phone all day? No, so it totally depends on your job, but most likely no. So maybe put your phone away. Yeah, those are good expectations. Those are a good start. What would happen if you don't show up on time? So we could get fired. What if you are expected to put in, 8 hours in a day and you leave early and you get paid hourly? You lose money, right? So you could lose money. What other type of consequences if you don't do your job? What are other consequences that might occur?
You might need to work overtime.
You may need to work more. You may lose vacation days.
Be sued.
You could be sued. Okay. Go ahead.
Black marks on your reputation as far as later occupations.
Absolutely. If you go to work for someone and you do a horrible job, are you going to be able to ask them for a reference? No. So you want to make sure that when you're leaving on good terms, because you guys need to start building and developing your reputation as an employee. And so that would be something that would occur as well. Anything else you can think of? Yeah. You could be demoted. How humbling. You start by sweeping, using a broom, and they demote you. Where are you going to go? Maybe you're at the door just opening it for people. The point is that is very true. You could get demoted. Yeah, toilets. There's always toilets. Yes. Absolutely. She said that it could have an impact on others because if you're a fireman and you don't show up for the fire, someone could die. So you're expected to do your job, right? All right. So what we've done in the last 10 minutes is we've discussed very negative things. Very negative things. We've discussed consequences. What we need to do now is look at what are the benefits if you follow the rules. And again, remember, conformity was following the rules. It's basically following a guided set of rules. So, what are some of the benefits of doing your chores at home, or benefits of letting the dog out, or benefits of getting along with each other? Anyone but Cody can raise their hand because I'm afraid of what he's going to say. All right, Cody.
You don't get abused.
All right, so no abuse, okay? Thank you, Cody. You get to eat dinner. All right, so you get fed.
Do you get like more privileges?
You get more privileges, okay? Yes. Your parents don't nag on you, okay? Parents don't nag. Are there any more? You can move around the house so you feel a little safer. That's what all those are coming to. It's a little safer at home. All right, all right. You might get an allowance if you do your chores. And nobody even said anything earlier about not doing your chores would be taking away your allowance. Shh. I'm sorry? You can leave the house. You finally got the privilege to go see friends. Maybe you get the car, right? Maybe you actually can get the car and do something as well. Okay? All right, good. How about school? What are some of the benefits of following the rules at school? Good grades.
You get to go to college.
You might get to go to college. Okay, getting a diploma.
I can just simply be a competent member of society because I'm not an idiot in the fact that I just wouldn't know things.
Okay, so you'll know things, so maybe you'll fit in. Okay?
You avoid all the home consequences too.
You avoid all the home consequences. That's good. You got people shaking their head on that one. All right? Any other school benefits if you just follow the rules?
You gain respect from teachers and peers.
Absolutely. You gain respect. That's a good one. Any others that you can think of? All right, so let's go to the last one, and then we're going to tie this together. Work. What are some of the benefits at work if you follow the rules?
More money.
More money. All right, they're all over there. More money. All right. Shh, I'm sorry. You could get promoted.
Good references.
You'll have good references. We talked about that earlier. Anything else you can think of? Opportunities? Maybe if your boss is talking to you and they know that you're going to do something well, they may offer you more opportunities because they know they can trust you because you're going to do your job. All right. There are a lot of what I would say consequences. I don't want to say negatives, but how does that top row feel to you? How does the top row feel? And then how does the bottom row feel? Talk about it with the people around you for just a moment. No, I think I got it. Just when I will with the yeah. Okay. So how did the top row feel? It doesn't feel good, does it? I mean, can you imagine if every day in your life you had those home consequences, you had the school consequences and the work consequences? That'd be a really tough existence. How about the bottom? Makes you feel happy? What else does the bottom, how does the bottom make you feel? Comfortable. Safe? Do you feel safe when you're down in the bottom row? Some of you said no abuse. Yes, didn't get abused. This all comes back to one thing. Choices.
Everybody got choice.
It's a choice. It's your choice. It's your choice whether you're going to confine, or you're going to conform to the rules, whether they be expected or they're written, or whether or not you're going to, for some reason, say no. And you're not going to conform to those rules. Now, you guys are at a wonderful age that you're challenging the rules right now, and that's okay. That's okay. You still have a choice. And there's some times where you might need to challenge, and sometimes when you might want to conform. Now, what I'd like to do is I want you to keep this back there in the back of your mind as we continue forward, but I need about a dozen volunteers. And I'm actually thinking, all right, just come down. I need a dozen people. Come on down. This is perfect. Oh, it couldn't be more perfect. guys will work. You guys will work. All right.
I'm the only girl.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I have a group here that is going to demonstrate something to you. It's a game that you all know, and you should know the rules to it. It is follow the leader. Now, Cody's in charge, right? Yeah. So I want you just to observe what's going on with follow the leader. All right, go ahead, Cody. Very good.
Wow.
Very good.
Watch out.
Very nice. All right, Cody, hold up for a second. Now, what did you guys notice as you're watching follow leader, other than they look a little silly up here, right?
Really?
Are they following the leader?
Yeah.
Are they doing a pretty good job?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. You guys are good. You're really good.
Thanks.
All right. Michael,
Yeah.
it's time. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So I want to, you guys can sit down. Thank you very much. I want to ask you a question. The people that were behind Michael, did they look like they knew what they were doing as soon as he went astray? Did you see the confusion? Even they didn't know what to do because they had no idea. They didn't know who to follow. And what did they eventually do? They eventually followed the leader and they kind of booted him out, which I thought was really interesting, and that's not what I thought was going to happen. I honestly thought that they would all follow Michael, because when you play follow the leader, what are your rules? Follow the person in front of you, right? And if everyone follows the person in front of them, then you follow the leader, right? But Michael chose, thank you, Michael. He chose because of me. He chose to not follow the leader. And so that what he did is he went into a different path. He was not conforming to the game. He was playing his own game. How many of you have experienced that in your own life? Whether it's you or a friend? Absolutely. All right, we've covered a lot of these. I want to go maybe one step bigger before we do this. And I want to talk about, now that you know that it's very possible for you to make your own decision, you saw it and follow the leader. What if we've got these three categories, let's go to one more category, and that's driving. The rules of the road. I'm going to skip what the rules of the road are because you all know what those are. Most of you are either in driver's training, you've finished it, or you're a driver. And if you're not, then just pay attention, just conform with the group right now. What are consequences if you don't follow the rules of the road?
You'll hit someone or you'll get hit.
You could hit someone or get hit. Brandon, you could get a ticket. Death. License restrictions. Points. Death of other people, which then results in possible jail. It's a real simple choice, right? And the same thing in life. In life, you have choices. You can go along with the group that you're with, and as you grow and as you go on through life, you'll find that you have different pockets of friends, because your friends will change as you grow. You're, like, for instance, friends of mine might be parents of kids who play sports with my kids, because we're going through the same world right now. When my youngest goes to college, then my friends might be other families or people that are home alone that don't have their kids with them anymore. The last thing I'd want to do after my youngest goes to college is hang out with someone who's got, newborns and small children running around, because I've already done that. That's not part of where I am in my life right now. As you guys go to college, your friend groups are going to change, and they will depend on how you grow. Some of you are going to grow faster than others emotionally, and that's going to change your friend group. The people who you thought were your friends they still may be your friends, but they may not have a lot in common with you because you're doing something else. Maybe you go to a different school. Maybe you're studying something that they're not studying. Maybe you join a club or a group that they don't. They don't understand where you're going. So all of those things come together on these choices, and the choices really are you going to choose this road up here, or are you going to choose this road? Are you going to follow the leader in front of you, or are you going to follow the leader in charge? These are all choices that you have to make. What I'd like to do right now, and I know I'm way ahead of my schedule, but what I'd like to do right now is talk to you about sports, because I want to tie sports in. How many of you play a sport or have played in a sport? So this is going to affect, this affects almost everyone in here. All right. Turn and talk to your friend or the person next to you and discuss what are some of the expectations. I don't want to say rules because every sport has a different set of rules, but what are the expectations of you as an athlete on a team? Go ahead. Okay. What did you come up with expectations as an athlete on a team? Okay, it's an expectation you're physically fit. A lot of coaches expect you to come to the team physically fit. Some coaches will take you and get you physically fit, right? What's another expectation?
Showing up.
Showing up? Do they care if you're late?
Yes.
So show up and show up on time, okay? What's another one?
You have to like treat everyone with respect on your team.
Treat your teammates with respect. Anyone else have one? Do what the team is doing.
Knowing all the plays or calls or whatever.
Know, study, understand all the plays and calls.
Play fair.
Play fair. Don't abuse what?
Drugs.
Okay, so the expectation is you're not doing drugs. That's expectation.
Bringing track equipment that you
Show up prepared, right? I mean, if you're running track and you don't have your shoes, that's not a real wise move.
Also have to maintain a certain grade point average.
Maintain a certain grade point average. Absolutely. Listen to your coach. How many of you have had a coach that when they're talking and you start talking and all of a sudden they go like nuts on you? Yeah? Yeah? In football, I've seen usually that just means some more down-ups or some laps or something like that. Yeah? Okay?
Work hard.
Work hard. Mr. Eislie, what are some expectations as a coach that you would expect students to show up with?
Respect for your teammates and the game in general. So having a pretty clear knowledge of why you're doing this and the benefits of being on a team and respecting that.
Absolutely. So what are the consequences if you don't do those things? And some of these can be really, really tough. What are some of the consequences?
You get cut from the team, moved lower in the ranking status.
Absolutely. I know 10th and 11th graders many times might be sent to JV for a week because maybe they missed a practice or a game, or there's a disciplinary, you're moving down, and then they can come back up when they're done. So moving down, being demoted.
You could have to like sit out of the game or.
Be benched, absolutely. You're sitting out, you weren't here for practice, you were late, you didn't dress, you're gonna sit.
Well, you might have to do like the tasks no one else wants to do, so like pick up after everyone, like get water or whatever.
Yeah, any of you had to be the water person? Mm-hmm. They usually do it to the injured person, right? The water person. Running laps. You know what? If you can't make a certain goal that the coach has, they make you run more or make you do more. If you're talking, you might have to do laps or down-ups. What else? Anything else you can think of? You could absolutely lose scholarships. If the coach isn't, if you are fighting and battling with the coach, does the coach really want to go one more step with you and get your name out to those college coaches? Maybe not. So that's a personal connection that you really need to think about when you're working on a team. Anything else you guys can think of?
I like that, like the idea of work ethic. You know, I think coaches expect you to come and do your best and be determined and to problem solve if you don't get it and to keep trying. And when you see a kid who isn't willing to take the extra steps to improve, to help the team, to keep working despite obstacles, the consequences are, you know, a loss of respect for that athlete, but also a lack of playing time, a lack of willingness to help that kid advance if they're not willing to work for it, because you don't want to force someone to participate in something that's supposed to be a privilege.
This is a perfect segue for the first video. One more thing, if you have that student who is always, or the athlete that is always challenging or not doing what they're supposed to do, what does that do to the rest of the team? Brings them down. How many of you have had someone on your team that just every time they open your mouth because of a comment or something, you just go, oh, because you're brought down? Okay? All right. So what I want to do at this point is I want to turn this session into something that you can think about. And I've got two videos. I'll show you the first video. Some of you may have seen it if you were on JV football because I showed this video before. But basically this first video is about a player, a football player, who is not conforming to what the coach's expectations are. And so the coach then works with this player. Does it go off after it's on mute for a while?
Yeah, hit the power button. All right, it's on.
It's on?
Guys, quiet for a second, please.
In the Old Testament, Nehemiah had the task of building a stone
That's not the right one.
wall around his city for protection. But he didn't have enough people or
I mean, if this is the wrong video, it's awesome.
All right, we're good, guys. She's gonna get the right video. We just want to make sure the audio is working.
Here we go. This is this one.
What's up, Coach? How strong is Westview this year?
A lot stronger than we are.
You already written Friday night down as a loss, Brock?
Well, not if I knew we could beat them.
Come here, Brock. You too, Jeremy.
What, am I in trouble now?
Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best.
What, you only go to the 30?
I think you go to 50.
50. I can go to the 50 if nobody's on my back.
I think you do it with Jeremy on your back, but even if you can, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best.
All right.
Your best.
Okay.
You going to give me your best?
I'm going to give you my best.
All right, one more thing. I want you to do it blindfolded.
Why?
Because I want you giving up at a certain point when you can go further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Give it a good tight hold, Jeremy. All right. Let's go, Brock. Keep your knees off the ground, just your hands and feet. There you go. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go. Show me good effort. That way, Brock. You keep coming. There you go. It's a good start. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Brock. That's it.
Not at 20 yet?
Forget the 20. You give me your best. You keep going. That's it. Now, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that.
Hey, just resting a second.
You gotta keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Your very best. Your very best. Your very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on me. Keep going. Keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. Your very best. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on, keep going. It hurts. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go.
He's heavy.
I know he's heavy.
I'm glad I'm straight.
And you negotiate with your body to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going. You hear me? You keep going. You're doing good. You keep going. Do not quit on me. You keep going. I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going. Burn. And let it burn. It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You promised me your best. Your best. Don't stop. Keep going. It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Brock Kelly, you don't quit. Keep going. Keep going. Go, Brock Kelly. You don't quit on me. No, you keep going. You keep going. Go, Brock. 10 more steps. 10 more. 10 more. 10 more. Keep going. Don't quit. Give me more. You can. You can. 5 more. 5 more. Come on, Brock. Come on. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, Brock. 2 more. 1 more. Look up, Brock. You're in the end zone. Brock, you are the most influential player on this team. If you walk around defeated, so will they. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field on your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it.
Coach?
Can I count on you?
Yes.
Coach,
What is it, Jeremy?
I want 160.
All right. Who's next?
Alright, so, I'm just gonna talk just for a second, what did we do with the little words? Here we go. Brock at the beginning was he was not follow the leader guy. He was doing his own thing. He was saying, we're not gonna be ready, we're down, we were just talking about that. His work ethic wasn't there. And what the coach did is it showed him that he could do not only what was expected, but more. Did you see how the whole team stood up they were in awe. Because when Brock finally falls in line and conforms to that team and the direction of the team and what the wishes of the coach are, people are gonna follow him because he's a leader. And that's huge. That's huge. How many of you have seen this before? Okay, good. So it's new to a few of you. What I want you to do is I want you to think about this. Again, when I was asked to do this, I thought, how do I tie conformity into life and team? I'm a huge team player. Coaching robotics, if we don't all work together, we can't do things like win the state championship. We leave next Tuesday to go down to Worlds, and right now we are projected right now to be the 5th best team in the world right now. And so the goal is that I want to take that and I want to come back next week at the end of the week as our #1. I would love nothing more than bring back to Clarkson High School the #1 seed in the world for robotics. That would be pretty cool. But we can't do it without everyone working together. And we do have our troubles. We have students who say, I don't want to collect data anymore. I don't want to, work on the robot. I'm tired of driving. I'm tired. Yeah. And so just like this video, I have to ask my team to negotiate with their heart and their body to do more. Being part of a team, you can say, are you really a conformist or are you a teammate? Well, it depends. And in life, you're going to also have to choose which team do you want to be on. There are situations where you might join a club or a group or an organization that does not have the proper social norms. And now you're in a group that maybe doesn't see the same ideals as you've been brought up to. They live by the top half of that. That's the group. They live by conflict. And then you're going to ask yourself, do you have the guts or the courage to be a nonconformist and leave that group? So whether it's conforming to something good or you conform to something bad, it's all a choice. It's a choice. It's your choice. It's a choice that you have to live with. Do you want to, on the top half of that board, do you want to deal with that stress and anxiety and have your parents coming down on you? Well, in a couple of years you don't have to because you're old enough to make your own decisions. But right now, yeah, you got a lot of people looking at you saying, you got your teachers looking at you saying, hopefully, do your work, get your stuff done. And in a couple of years that won't happen. Then it's all your choice. At that point, I hope that you choose something that's going to make you happy in the long run. I hope you choose to conform to good things, because good things will get you there. And you have a much happier existence if you choose to, if you make a choice for good. The other thing I'm going to add is that, before I show you the last video, is when it comes to teamwork, and I'm sure your parents tell you this, and your coaches tell you this, but are you giving it your all? Like Brock only said, well, I can make it to the 20. Nobody thought I could make it the full football field. And why did the coach blindfold him? Because he would have quit at 20. How many of you have ever, maybe you're a runner, you run, you're going to run 2 miles, and just before 2 miles, you find yourself slowing down because you're almost done. It happens a lot to athletes. They know that's all they got to do, so towards the very last one, they slow down. Push yourself, go a little further. You might be getting B's in school because you think that's the best you can do. No, you could probably do better. But you gotta learn how to. You gotta learn how to do these things and how to push yourself further. And that's something that comes from deep inside. And that's what the coach was talking about with Brock. Are you doing your best? I know you have a project, a huge project coming up. And I know some of you are like, oh, don't call on me. But I'm guessing that there's a lot of you that haven't even started this project. You know, there's some smiles. There's like, ooh, yeah, don't let the teachers know. Hughes, don't ask us. So just out of curiosity, how many of you really haven't dove into this project yet? Raise your hand. Okay? Yeah.
Wait, keep your hands up for a second.
Warner's going to take a picture of it. But the point is, maybe you think, okay, I can do it later. I can dive in and get it all done. It shows. You know, teachers know when things are done at the end. Because we know the depth that you could have gone through the process. So if anything today, hopefully I can inspire you to get started on your project because you don't want to deal with those negative consequences on top in the school or the parent section. But I just want you to make good choices. And so this last video that I have for you is supposed to make you think about your choices. Because life is all about choices. And where you end up is all because of the choices that you've made. So last video. Start it over, sorry.
It is not death most people are afraid of. It is getting to the end of life only to realize that you never truly lived. There was a study done, a hospital study, on 100 elderly people facing death close to their last breath. They were asked to